Today, we're diving into the surprisingly high-tech world of the modern halal industry. And believe me, it's a story that goes way, way beyond a simple food label. So let's start with a really simple question. You're in a store, you see a bag of jelly candy, and you wonder, is this actually halal? You'd think the answer would be a simple yes or no, right? Well, it turns out the real answer is way more complex. It's a story that actually involves DNA forensics, huge shifts in global economics, and even the future of things like artificial intelligence. So, let's get into it. Okay, so what's really going on inside that little piece of candy? The problem, it turns out, really boils down to one key microscopic ingredient that's, well, it's pretty much everywhere. It's called porcine gelatin. And, it's kind of the perfect gelling agent. It's cheap, it works great, and it's used in everything from gummy bears to the capsules for your medicine. But here's the catch. For observant Muslims, anything from a pig is strictly haram, or forbidden. And that creates a massive challenge for pretty much everyone, from the people making the products to the people buying them. So how can you be absolutely 100% sure a product is compliant? Well, that's where the science comes in. And it's pretty amazing. It basically turns food safety into a high-tech forensic investigation. In these labs, scientists will take a food sample and literally pull the DNA right out of it. Then, they use these special tools called primers. You can think of them like tiny DNA-sniffing search dogs that are built specifically to find the mitochondrial DNA from pigs. If they get a match, they know for certain there's pork material in there. It gives you a definitive scientific yes or no, no guesswork. And this kind of innovation is solving these problems all over the place. So instead of pork-based gelatin, scientists have developed gelatin from milkfish bones. Instead of haram industrial lubricants, you now have halal agents made from palm oil. Even the wax coating on fruit can be replaced with something called chitosan, which is a compound that comes from shrimp shells. And this really gets to the heart of what's driving all the science. It's not just about finding clever alternatives. It's about building an entire system of trust. A system built on methods that are fast, super reliable, and sensitive enough to guarantee that what's on the label is what's actually in the product. So you have all this incredible science, but what happens when it leaves the lab and actually hits the marketplace? Well, that's when things get really interesting, because it all comes down to the power of a single label. Let's take a look at a real-world example, Maha Bakery. After they went through the whole process and got their official halal certification, the business reported a significant jump in their income. See, this isn't just some abstract concept. It has a real, measurable impact on small businesses. And what's really fascinating is why this happens. When you look at what drives a consumer's decision, the halal certification isn't just one factor among many. It's often the number one factor. It can be even more important than knowing all the details about the product itself, or even a person's general level of religiosity. So here's the key takeaway. That label is so much more than just a sticker on a package. It's a powerful signal. It signals trust, integrity, and authenticity. And that one signal is strong enough to direct billions and billions of dollars in consumer spending every single year. Now, with that kind of economic power in play, it's really no surprise that this system is being scaled up. We're talking from individual businesses to the national and even the global level. But look, it's not always an easy path, especially if you're a smaller business. They face some pretty big hurdles. The certification process can be really expensive. Sometimes there's just a lack of awareness or information. You've got to navigate all this complex paperwork. And then there's the huge challenge of making sure every single part of your supply chain is also compliant. So to tackle these problems, entire nations are starting to develop these huge, large-scale strategies. We're talking about ambitious projects like creating a global halal hub, an entire ecosystem just to support the industry. They're also working to streamline the certification process to make it easier for small and medium-sized businesses. They're actively promoting exports, and they're even building out dedicated logistics systems to guarantee that supply chain integrity. And the ultimate ambition here is massive. The goal is to take an entire nation of small, local producers and transform them together into a single competitive powerhouse on the global stage. And that global stage, it's getting bigger every single day. The same principles that are driving the halal food industry are now expanding way, way beyond the food aisle. I mean, just look at how this has exploded. Back in the 90s, it was really all about food and drinks. Then in the 2000s, it moved into cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. By the 2010s, we saw the rise of halal finance and logistics. And now, in the 2020s, the conversation includes things like modest fashion, tourism, and even technology. So, what we're really witnessing here is a fundamental evolution. The concept is shifting away from just being a set of rules about products. It's becoming this comprehensive global framework for how to do business in a way that is ethical, transparent, and completely trustworthy. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought. As totally new industries, I mean, everything from fintech to artificial intelligence start to grapple with their own huge questions about ethics and trust and transparency, what will the word halal even mean tomorrow?